familiar with that phrase that actions speak louder than words? Of course they do. Choices made in our discipleship are the actions, not the words. So the great ones add that it is only the spiritual moments of life that hold any value for us. Now remember, as masters, we'll be doing that all the time. So we might want to look at our life and go, oh boy, we've got some gaps to fill. But that's not really what they're saying here. They're basically encouraging us to develop more spiritual repose in our life, inviting us to bring God more in, not impugning us for the aspects that we don't have. Now, here's the challenge. Our personality self knows this too. And it's working subtly to deflect us from those God moments because, again, it takes it away from our personality self. It likes the attention on it. And so that is the tremendous opportunity before us with free will, to choose God despite that. And that is why our growing love for God and goodness that is the answer there. It keeps us like a magnet, keep coming back to what can I do more. Even when we slip and fall, it gets us right back up to that journey ahead. I remember one of the ministers sharing a story many years ago from the Screw Tape Letters. And of course, this is a book written by C.S. Lewis. If you haven't written it, it's done as an administrator of the devil. Screw Tape is training his nephew Wormwood to mentor individuals on this earth to keep them basically away from those God moments. And it just shows how subtle our shadow and personality selves works to keep us at bay. And the story was shared about an individual that was basically at like a spa or a bathhouse and really tuning in and having this wonderful moment and getting spiritually charged. I want to go home. Oh, there's that spiritual book I have at home that I want to read, and getting really excited to do that. And then Wormwood on the other side of life just put into their consciousness, oh, but aren't you hungry? Why don't you do that after lunch? Do you see how subtle our lower self works with us? Oh, yes, I'll get right back to it after lunch. And you know what happens? We oftentimes don't, do we? Our lower nature is that subtle in reaching and going after those little choices that we are making at every turn. Now, the big choices, while they're momentous in our life, and we've all had them, they are, while they may not be easy to make, they are really brought into the light, aren't they? We look at them from all kinds of angles and struggle with them. But the little choices, they like to stay in the shadows in a sense of our consciousness. They don't always want to be brought right into the surface and that light and be exposed. And I know that's very true for me. I don't want to look at them too closely sometimes. And that not wanting to look at them closely allows them to sneak through, doesn't it? So we have to pay attention to our choices. And so today we're going to look at 4 developments to each of us becoming greater wielders of choice. And the very first one is to bring those choices into the light. Make choices conscious, clear-cut, and visible. Now, as I was studying again myself to wanting to suppress those, I can almost feel them coming, little decisions that really aren't the best for me. Now, see, there is my personality describing bad decisions as not really the best for me. That's the way they look when they're in the shadows. If I actually bring them into the light, guess what it looks like? Oh, that's a really bad decision. So there's the thing. It feels much better if we can kind of keep them in there from our personality self standpoint. And so that's where we want to watch, because our minds quickly come in to rationalize and kind of excuse it for each of us. And again, this is about impugning us or beating ourselves up for the mistakes that we make. That's going to happen on that journey. But we can't let those choices hide in life's shadows. We can't let them operate secretly behind secret motives and unconscious ones. Dr. Stephen Isaac again puts it, don't allow them to be infiltrated by compromise or manipulated by uncertainty and confusion. Learn to recognize light from darkness, higher from lower, right from wrong. Then act for light, height, and right.